We're going to work on an example problem using the angle addition postulate when we have multiple angles. Our first task is to make a sketch for this particular problem. So we're going to start this first piece. B is in the interior of angle AXC. So we're going to create our angle AXC. So we have A on one ray, X at the vertex, and then C on the other ray. And then we're going to put another ray in the interior of that for point B. The next one we're going to look at is that C is in the interior of BXD. Well, we already have B, we have X, and we have C, so the only piece of that we're missing is D. So we're going to draw another ray and then label this one with the D. So our third piece of the description is about point D is in the interior of CXE. We have our C, X, and D, so we need to do another ray for point E. And then our fourth piece that's described is that C is in the interior of AXE. Well, here's our C, and here's our AXE, and it is in the interior. So we have made our sketch of the angle, and now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the angle measures. So the first angle measure we have is for AXE, which is the entire angle. So the entire angle is 170 degrees. The next piece that they give us a measure for is the measure of angle CXE. So our CXE is a portion that goes from ray CX or XC to the ray XE. So this is 110 degrees. We can now use our angle addition postulate to find the measure of angle AXC. So if we go over here and use the angle addition postulate, the sum of the parts equals the whole. So the measure of angle AXC plus the measure of angle CXE will have to equal the measure of the entire angle AXE. So if we substitute in our known values, our measure of angle AXC plus 110 degrees will have to equal 170 degrees. Do our subtraction from both sides of the 110 degrees. And we now have that the measure of angle AXC is 60 degrees. So let's write that in the picture. This is 60 degrees. So our next one tells us a set of equivalent angles. The measure of angle AXB, the measure of angle BXC, and the measure of angle DXE are all equivalent to each other. So we're going to choose a variable to represent those. So angle AXB, angle BXC, and angle DXE, we're going to label them, their measures, as the same common variable. If you notice, the angle we just found, AXC, is made up of two common variables. So once again, we can use the angle addition postulate, the sum of the parts. So the measure of angle AXB plus the measure of angle BXC will equal the measure of the entire angle, which is AXC. So if we fill in our values, our unknown value for our two smaller angles will have to equal the 60 degrees for the whole thing. So combine our like terms. So this is 2y equals 60 degrees. remove the multiplication by dividing by 2, our y is equal to 30 degrees. So this means that the measure of angle AXB is 30 degrees. The measure of angle BXC is 30 degrees, and the measure of angle DXE is 30 degrees. So now, if we look at our angle diagram, we're only missing one angle. The only angle that we're missing is the measure of angle CXD. Once again, we can use the angle addition postulate because our angle CXD is part of the larger angle CXE, which we have a value for. We also have the other part, so our sum of the parts equals the whole. So the measure of angle CXD plus our known value for the measure of angle DXE will equal the entire measure of the angle CXE. Fill in our known values. We're going to find the value of the measure of CXD. We know that DXE is 30 degrees, and we know that CXE is 110 degrees. So when we do our subtraction of the 30, we get a value of 80 degrees for our last known angle. So this is 80 degrees. We now have the measure of each piece within our picture. So now we can go in and we can answer the questions. So in question A, our measure of angle AXE, so here's our A, here's our X, and here's our B. So AXB, we have calculated, that's a B, not an E, is 30 degrees. Question B, we're supposed to find the measure of angle BXE. So when we look, BXE is these pieces. We know that BXC is 30 degrees. We can use our angle addition. We know that CXE is the 110 degrees. And when we put that together, we get 140 degrees. And for problem C, our measure of angle BXD. So here's BXD is made up of these two smaller pieces, BXC, which is 30 degrees, and CXD, which is 80 degrees. And when we add those together, it's 110 degrees. So we have found our missing pieces using the angle addition postulate, and we have found the other angles also using the angle addition postulate.